Welcome back, Soul Tribe. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. Let's check the vibe, Soul Tribe. Let's check the vibe. Let's check the vibe. Cleanse the energy. Cleanse the field. Let's see what Spirit has to say about the person in your energy. All right, let's get a nice, it's very smoky today. Okay, Spirit, what do you have to tell us today? What do you have to share with the collective? Now, remember, this is general. If it doesn't resonate, do not force it to fit. Okay. If you need a personal reading, contact me. My link is in my bio. Contact me. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Let me know your needs. Let's do a clarity decode. But right now, it is general. Spirit, tell me, what does the collective need to know about their situation with the person on their mind? Okay, Spirit, spit it. Tell me, what does the collective need to know? Oh, yeah. A lot of passion. This person has a lot of passion for you. Page of Wands. They got so much passion that they don't know what to do with it. All right, collective. Here's the deal. This person has a lot of passion for you. But they're like the wounded soldier. They just keep going at it. They don't give up. They're not giving up on you. They've got so much passion and love for you that they just keep whirling around in it, and they're at a stance. They just keep battling. There's no letting up. The problem is that they were juggling you with something else. Something came in the way. All right, they were juggling you with either work. It doesn't have to necessarily be another person, but they didn't make the time necessary for you because they were juggling two things at the same time, whether it's work and responsibilities, obligations and you. Okay, so they were trying to keep balance, but you know what happens when someone does this, right? Something drops. So they were trying to keep balance. They were trying to keep you and their obligations and burdens and responsibilities. They were trying to keep up with it, but they kept fighting. Now this person is working up the courage to come toward you because you are what they want. Wish fulfillment. They want a family with you, collective. They want a happily ever after. But they need to muster up the courage to do this. They need to find the strength to be able to build this foundation with you. Tell me more, Spirit. So the passion is there and the resilience is there. They're wounded and they keep going, but they juggled you. So now they're building the courage up and their strength up to be able to get this 10 of Cups with you because that's what they want. That's what they want. Tell me more, Spirit. What does the collective need to know? They're planning. They're planning and they're wondering how could they achieve this. And they're working long and hard and taking a hard look at the changes that they have to make in order to achieve this. But collective, they're leaving something behind. They're walking away from something. Something that does not satisfy them. King of Wands. Honey, like I said, the passion for you is bar none. Okay. They're all fire for you. All right. The King of Wands gets what he wants. And they're very charming and they're very elegant. And they know how to talk. They know how to sweet talk. Okay, so this person they have the gift of gab. You know what? For what they did, that they were juggling you with something else. Again, if this message does not resonate with you, please do not force it to fit. There's justice. They're paying for whatever they did to you. They're paying for it. They're paying for it because justice will prevail. The Magician. They want to manifest. They're manifesting you back into their life. Because they have the power. They have the money. They have the lust, the desire. They have the will. And they're doing it. They're manifesting. They're wielding all this power to make a plan to come towards you to get their happily ever after. Okay, so they're holding a lot of power here right now. They want to make it happen. But so far, I see planning, collective. I see a lot of planning. Spirit, tell me more about the person and their energy. How are they planning to come toward them? What are they planning to do toward the collective? What are their next actions? There was a betrayal here, a heavy betrayal. One that is not taken lightly. They betrayed you. They betrayed you. And you moved on to calmer waters. Okay, you no longer lived in that chaos. It took a long time for you to get over what this person did to you because this is beyond anything. 10 swords. You didn't know how you were going to get over this, the betrayal that they did to you. But yet you found the strength to move to calmer waters and leave them behind. And now they're in their head. They live in a mental prison because they can't get over the fact of how they hurt you. So what they don't realize is that they created this mental prison, which lives in a loop because they keep reliving what they did to you and they just can't forgive themselves. So if they can't forgive themselves, they're wondering, how are they going to forgive me? How have I ruined this relationship with my egotistical and narcissistic ways of living? How could I do this to the collective, to him or to her? Fit and flip the roles. This is what they want. They want to offer you so much love. They want to just pour it into you. Right now, they're just overflowing, and no, and most importantly, they want to come in peace. But they're overflowing with love, and they want to offer you this love, but they don't know how to come toward you because of the betrayal. Mm, that's harsh. Tell me, Spirit, how did they betray the collective? That was fast. They had a choice to make. They had two paths. Okay. They had to choose between two paths, which leads me to believe that they needed to choose between you and somebody else. And they chose somebody else. Yeah, they chose somebody else. And they build a life with them. And this destroyed you. And even though you are their son, and I'm talking about the sun rises and sets with you, collective. The sun rises and sets with you. They think that you'll never get over their betrayal because they did choose somebody else over you. And they just think that even if they want to come towards you now, you're not going to forgive them. Tell me more, Spirit. Now they want to rush towards you. Ooh, they're just they want to come to you at all costs. They're rushing, they're planning. There's momentum. There's momentum. But there's judgment. For everything that they've done and all the choices that they've made, honey, there is karma and they are paying for what they did. You're rising like the phoenix, but they're paying for what they've done. Yes, they are. They are paying for it. But the thing is, there's a past between you, so it's not that easy to walk away from you. That's what makes it hard for them to let go. They tried moving on. They tried to make sense of it, and nothing would make sense. So it all goes back to you, collective. It always goes back to you because they have a history with you. There's memories. There are memories that they cannot erase. Queen of Pentacles. You're a no-nonsense woman who has it going on. You balance work and home. All right? You are stable. You work. You're a mom. And you know what? You make it work. You're the Queen of Pentacles, and they see you that way. And they feel very possessive over you. They do. They don't want to let go. You have a lot of things. You have a lot of things in common, collective. But they hold on to you. They hold on to how you made them feel, and to you, they don't want to let you go. So even if they are in another situation that they've gotten themselves into, something that they chose themselves, okay, they're holding on to you. So this person is very selfish and greedy because they don't want to let go of what they have, but they don't want to let go of you either. That's what Spirit is telling me. Spirit, tell me more. What does the collective need to know? Listen, they're going through it. They're going through it. They're living in regret. They feel so sorry. They just they're broken. They're broken over what they did to you and the choices that they've made. They know that they broke you and they walked away. They know that when they betrayed you, that was it. So now they're living in this regret. This they're going through so much, collective. They really are. They are. Because no matter what, they go through their day. This person keeps themselves busy with tasks and work because when they stop, this is where they are. Mm-hmm. The ache and agony and regret that they feel, they can't they can't escape it. They can't escape it. Tell me more, spirit. Yeah. They think that this situation is a no-win situation. All right. Somebody's going to get hurt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. But someone is walking away hurt from the situation. There's a no-win situation. So, yeah, they're being sneaky, conniving. They won. But really in this scenario, no one really wins because they're not happy. They're not happy. They're not really happy. They're holding all the swords. So what? There's two people who are hurt here. That's exactly what's happening. So they feel that they're disciplined. This person is very, very disciplined, collective. Your person is very disciplined. And they have their sword up. They feel that they have to be on the defensive the entire time, in control of their emotions, not letting anything slip. So even if they want to come toward you, they feel that they have to have this, be on the defensive. They feel like if they're going to be attacked all the time. And let me tell you, honey, you're not the one doing the attacking. All right. They are heartbroken. Their heart is ripped. They're ripped apart. They live in agony. They are hiding this from you. Okay, and the reason why they're hiding their pain from you is because you put your sword up, you have boundaries now, and you're not letting them cross, and they know it. You changed with them because of what they did to you. And I don't blame you. Good for you. You deserve better than what they were offering you. They were breadcrumbing you, and you know what? They're now heartbroken because you leveled up. You finally realized that you don't want the BS. You don't want what they're serving, and you said, "You know what? No, go back to what you chose. You thought the grass was greener on the other side. You went with it, so now you stick to it. Because I'm moving on, baby. You just can't come and go as you please. Mm-mm. Who do you think you are? Honey, Queen of Swords energy. You're in control now. Because you know what? They don't only see your boundaries, but they see that you don't need them. Because you are enjoying your money. You are enjoying your lavish lifestyle. And you are getting noticed, recognized, seen. And you've moved on. And you don't need them. Because you got it going on. That's what they see, and they are in regret. Yeah, because you're shining like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Tell me more, spirit. All they want is you. All they want is you. Wish fulfillment. Of course. Who doesn't want a no-nonsense woman who knows where to draw the line. Again, flip and switch the roles, okay? Who doesn't want no nonsense? A person who's completely independent and who doesn't need you. Of course they do. Of course they do. That's what they've always wanted. That's what they've always wanted. The problem is they chose a different path. They were maneuvered, manipulated, swayed. Yeah, they were. Now they're at a stalemate. They don't know which way to turn. They know they have to make a decision because the universe, baby, is not going to wait. It's not going to keep them here at a stalemate. What? No. No, the universe is going to say, you need to choose because you can't have your cake and eat it too. And they are burdened by this because now they feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. They have responsibilities, they got obligations, they got so much that they feel beat up. But they're living in a two swords energy right now because they know they need to choose. And they're being avoidant. They're being avoidant. All this time they were being in denial. So even if they are emotionally drained, depleted, full of regret, sorrow, they're just sad. They're just sad, lonely. They just can't get over it. They're in regret and they continue to be in denial because they don't want to choose. Because they're afraid that if they walk away from their situation, once they come to you, you know what? You're going to say, what? What, baby? What? What? Oh no, honey, I gotta go. No, I can't talk to you. I can't. I'm not willing to participate in your games anymore. You chose. I wasn't good enough. And in reality, honey, you're not good enough for me. That is what they fear. They fear that they're gonna leave the situation, and once they come to you, you no longer want them because you felt rejected. You felt rejected. They chose somebody else. They thought it was going to be better with somebody else. So now you don't want them. You don't want them. You don't want them. Tell me more, spirit. They remain hopeful because you're the star. You're the eye. The eye of the prize. They keep their eye on you. You're the star. Listen, you did magic to their soul. And I'm not talking about literal. This is how they felt. They felt that you fulfilled them in a way that they can't get with anybody else. You poured into them without even making an effort because it came natural to you. You loved them. You poured into them. And what did they give you? They're back. So they are hoping and praying that you just turn around and pour a little bit of what you used to pour into them, pour it back into them. But now you're pouring into you. But they remain hopeful. They remain hopeful, collective. Because that's what they want. You are what they want. So they're going to come in rushing. They got drive. They're on a mission. They got something to prove. They got something to say. And they're coming fast. They're coming in fast. They don't want to leave things the way that they did. They can't afford it. They can't afford to lose you. They can't. They don't want to lose you. They don't want to lose you. Let's get some clarifiers. Tell me, Spirit. Tell me, what does my collective need to know about the person on their mind? This person that feels sorrowful and regretful. Tell me, Spirit, what does my collective need to know about the person on their mind? Listen, they're obsessed with you. They can't get enough of you. They can't get over you. They're unsatisfied with the way they left things. They gave you the bare minimum and they know it. They know it. They want to reach out, communicate with you. They want to call you. They want to text you. They look at their phone and they start writing a text and then they stop because they don't know if you're going to welcome them because you stopped pouring into them and started pouring into yourself. You've accepted the situation for what it is. That's the bottom line. And they're aware of this. And since you stopped pouring into them because of their choices, you started pouring into yourself with self-love, collective. And that's all you need to say about it. That's why you're glowing up. You're pouring into yourself. You're in control. You know what you want. And you're getting it. And they know it. Tell me more, Spirit. What does the collective need to know about the person on their mind? They're going through it. All right. Their emotions are in and out. They're feeling it like a giant wave. You or your person might be a water sign or have water sign placements, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, which would explain the waves of emotion. But they just keep going through it. They're going to continue to go through that. These emotions, because they're not going to get over it. Tell me more, Spirit. They were being sneaky and deceitful with you. All right. They were. They were a sneaky link, as they say. They were hiding their emotions from you. They knew that they juggled you. They had somebody else on the side. And they were being sneaky about their feelings and about their motives. Let's just get down to business here. And the problem is that they ghosted you, all right, for a fire sign, all right. Again, this might not fit in your situation, so don't force it to fit. Either you, them, or the karmic may be a fire sign, because here it is. Darling, they got into a commitment. All right, this is just clarification and validation. They got married, all right, but the problem is they're not happy there. So they ghosted you, they disappeared, all right. They created distance. Some of you may be in no contact, and some of you very little contact. After you found out what they were doing, they got into a committed relationship. They got married. They were sneaky. They were with you and them. And then they chose the karmic. And now they're in a marriage that they're not happy in, because all they do is think about you. Bam. They're a divine masculine collective. And they're always going to be pulled towards you. But they're a provider. Now, that's the problem. They're in a marriage and they're the provider. They're the head of the household. So the problem is that it's going to be very difficult for them to come towards you when they have that whole situation and that mess that they got themselves into. But they're your divine masculine. So there's always going to be a pull toward you. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more of what the collective needs to know. Okay. They're living, they have a facade, all right? They're putting on a brave face for everybody. They're putting on a show, basically. They're a people pleaser, because right now they're not living in what they want. They're not getting what they want. They're giving everybody else what they want. That's not what they want, your person. They are putting a facade and they're putting on a show for everybody else. And they're giving people what they want to see, not what your divine masculine wants. That's not what they want, but they feel that they got to put up a show because, of course, they're in this relationship that they don't want to be in. And something happened in this past winter. All right, because now we're entering spring. And something big went down. That's when you might have found out that all this foolishness was a reality. Some of you may not have been in contact with them, and then you found out. And it was like a cold bucket of water in wintertime when you found out. Yeah, but you know what? They have a ravenous, insatiable appetite for you. That's why they can't forget you. Remember, you're in boss energy. You're the star that poured into them like no other. So they have these uncontrollable desires for you and this hunger that they're not going to be able to quench, collective. So they are fired up and seeking you endlessly because you are their divine feminine collective. That's why they have your heart. So they are your counterpart. Okay? They are your counterpart. So they're fired up, they're pissed, they're furious, they're raging. All right. Their emotions are all over the place. They're triggered all the time. So now they're in a hurry. They're searching for you endlessly. They think about you day and night. But they might find that you blocked their ass. All right. So they're searching for you, and all they want to do is get in touch with you because you are the divine counterpart. And that's why they are always going to be pulled towards you again. This is only validation of everything that Spirit has told you from the beginning. Tell me more, Spirit. They admire you. They're inspired by you. They hear a song and all they do is think of you. They have an emotional bond with you, collective, that cannot be broken. It doesn't matter who they're with. That's why they're in such deep longing and deep regret. Because they were avoidant and they ran, and all they want to do now is visit you. Look, they lived in denial. They couldn't even face the fact that they loved you. They couldn't tell you the truth. They couldn't face the truth. They dismissed their own feelings. Then they ghosted your ass. And then you know what? Now they're in regret and wanting to come back. So expect a visit, expect a call, a text, a knock on your door, or just a drive-by by work or by your house or the grocery store, but they want to pay you a visit and they're going to think of any excuse to do it because they're just going to see a little opening and they want to come in and talk to you. They want to let you know how much they appreciated you, how much they enjoyed you. But I don't know. I think it's a little bit too late. I think it's a little bit too late. But I don't know. It's up to you, collective. What do you want? Okay, tell me more, Spirit. What does the collective need to know? What did I say? Ha! They're triggered. They're getting flashbacks that they can't control. They're living in regret every day. They're blaming themselves, okay, because the guilt is eating them alive. They feel ashamed for putting you in a third party situation. Yeah, yeah, they did. Secret hookups. Of course, they're going to be in regret. Yeah, because you deserve more. And now's when they realize that. But this regret is not going away because it is deep, deep, so deep, so deep. Any last messages? This is what ties them down, the responsibilities. They have children. And they acted immature towards you by being avoidant, okay? But now they're in a whole other situation that's going to take a lot for them to walk away because children are involved. They have a family with somebody else. They're married, and now it's not so simple. So they know that time is running out with you because you're not waiting forever. You are not waiting, period. And they feel on edge because they know that they don't have any more time. They don't have any more time. So they know there was a deadline. And the door might be permanently closing. And well, we had a flyer here. They pulled on your heartstrings, and now they're receiving the karma because they took advantage. Everything was mind games with them. They strung you along. They gave you false hope. They thought that they could get away with it, and they found out the hard way that they couldn't. They couldn't play with you. Anything else, Spirit, from this deck for the collective? No? All right, we're done. We're done with that. All right. Let's go ahead and close it out. Let's close it out. Let's close it out, collective. What does the collective need to hear about the person on their mind? About this situation with their divine masculine? Listen, collective, you were right all along. If they wanted to, period. That's what you need to know. Love doesn't need decoding. If they're ghosting, breadcrumbing, or too busy, they're not your person. They're just a waste of perfectly good mascara. Stop crying for this person. You've shown that you're already in Nine of Pentacles. You moved on. I know that it's hard, but you know what? If they wanted to, they would have. Point blank, period. Tell me more, Spirit. What do you need to tell the collective about the person on their mind? About this divine masculine? Listen, your standards didn't scare them. Their lack of integrity did. They juggled you. Don't forget that, collective. All right? Don't lower the bar and don't lower your standards for anybody. Much less if they left you in limbo. You didn't deserve that. You were pouring into them. Well, you know what? Now you're pouring into you. Don't feel bad about that. Keep your high standards exactly where they are because you're going to find somebody that shares that value and that has high standards like you and didn't fumble you, that's for sure. Tell me more, Spirit. One more for the collective. All right, I'll take it. They didn't want to give you one, they gave you four. Spirit said, not this one, sweetie. You know what? Your guides tried to be subtle. All right. They've tried dreams, they've tried signs. Now they're just yelling at you and they're saying, this one's a spiritual detour. Get back on track. And you did. You got back on track. If they say, I don't do labels, good. Label them as unavailable. Yeah, they're unavailable now. So you know what? You're moving on. If you got to manifest them texting back, they're not it. You got tired of waiting. All right, that's why there's a deadline. All right, collective, there's a deadline. They know it. And you know what? You've moved on. And honey, if this doesn't say it, nothing else will. You deserve flowers, not confusion. Love shouldn't feel like a riddle or games. All right? You want love. It's simple. You're holding your standards. You have your boundaries. You have your sort of. You know what you want. They didn't. Now they're living in chaos. But you know what? They chose. But you know what? Someone will buy you flowers. They will buy you flowers. And you don't have to buy excuses anymore. Again, you deserve flowers, not confusion. And it's headed your way. Well, my dear soul tribe, I hope that this message gave you clarity. Like, subscribe, share, click on that notifying bell. That way you can get notified when I upload. And again, if you want to have a conversation, hit me up. Go ahead and email me. Let's talk. Soul Tribe, sending you good vibes. And until next time, keep it real.